222. It says it's recording. All right, I'm sure it'll be fine. Be fine. Yes. So what does your wife do?
Well, she was an office manager before for a telecoms company, but she stopped that now, and she's working for Water Babies now, which is the swim teaching classes for kids. So she's training to be a teacher for them and doing the officey stuff as well. So
I mean, it's an adjustment. Like I said, just when gigs come in, you just automatically say yes to them, and now you've got this tiny little person. It's like, oh, I've got to factor that in. But we were quite lucky in the fact that my wife took a year off for both kids, and then it's just a lot of money on babysitters.
Yes. Oh man, the nursery thing is serious, isn't it? Like that. Yeah, it's great because she goes for 2 days a week, and I think there's that funding coming in soon, which I'm very thankful for. But it's hard, isn't it, man? Like it really does take it out of you. Yeah.
Like I said, man, it's an adjustment. I mean, the amount of people that do it is, I mean, everybody has to work around their children once they have children. Everybody has to put work around their children, or put children around their work, and you just figure out how to do it. But I tell you, the one thing I miss most of all is just going away somewhere. Even if you just like, let's just go to the pub for lunch. It's just like you just go. I remember, or just like, let's just go to. I remember I went to Morocco once for the weekend. Like, I can't do that anymore.
Yeah. I guess that element of spontaneity is kind of not there anymore. But I agree in that sense. Like, to just go. Oh, but then I remember when she was first born, all of this, it was all like, oh man, all this stuff we got to bring, all of this stuff when we go out. Now you just don't even think about it, do you? It's just like, you just adapt so quickly.
Yeah, but, we've only just shedded the bag that you have to take. We only just got rid of that.
Yeah, the famous bag. Yeah,
the bag of the pushchair. But yeah, there you go. That's not usually how I start these podcasts, talking about family life and children. But
yeah, I think it's a unique thing though, being a musician and having a family. I mean, obviously there's tons of jobs that are similar to what we do, but I speak to a lot of friends about it, and they all have their own kind of challenges with it and stuff. But
the only good thing is I'm free during the day most days. So I do all the school runs, I do all the school pickups. I teach in schools, so it works around their school time. So
that's
I'm usually
super handy.
I'm usually first point of call for things like, oh, your daughter's sick, can you come and get us? Like, okay, I can slip out and I can move, I can shuffle teaching around, and
that flexibility is amazing. Yeah, it's really good.
So I guess it has its benefits. Not doing the traditional 9 to 5.
Yeah, definitely. Like you say, sometimes when this gig comes in and you're like, oh, can I do it?
Those Wednesday evening gigs, they tend to be a bit tricky. But like I said, babysitters, just as soon as I don't know if you've got parents that are close by that can do it.
Very fortunately, we have, and they're amazing, honestly. So we call upon them a fair bit, and it's just absolutely gold. Honestly, we're so lucky. But
we kind of missed that because my parents are about an hour away, and my wife's from New York, so it was.
That's a long commute for some childcare.
But so what's the year been like for you, music wise?
Good. I think. So Flo was born in June last year, so obviously that's quite a peak time of like gigs and things like that. So I basically took that whole month off or blocked it out. So, and then from there, it's sort of like it picked up. I mean, we went away for 5 weeks over December, so that's a big chunk of the year out as well. But the parts that I have worked, particularly kind of recently, has been really good. Been pretty busy. Still trying to find the balance because I want to, I do some teaching, but I want to bring a little bit more of that back in to my kind of, almost like maybe a day or a half a day or something a week. Because as you know, just gigging and being on the road all the time when you have a child has its challenges as well. So it'd be nice to have that other facet back in there. But I've got a couple of students that I teach online, but always
kind of teaching.
Sorry?
Do you like teaching?
Love it. Yeah, I really enjoy it. Particularly the kind of one-to-one, sort of like teens and up sort of thing. That's kind of my sort of area, I guess. I've done the Perry in schools thing before, which was great as well. Enjoyed that. But really enjoy it, and I really enjoy doing it over Zoom as well, actually, because it's so sort of free in terms of the schedule, you know.
Yeah. I tell you what, I found that I always thought the same. Like I always thought like teens and up. I don't really want to do like kids. And then after, I think it was after lockdown, I got a couple of jobs in my daughter's school actually, and because it's a primary school, I just said I'll take everyone from year sort of 2 up to 6, and that year 2, 3, and 4, I think they were probably like 8, 9, 10. I just find that is the best age to grab them musically.
Massively.
Because they'll sit and they'll do what you ask. They don't really back chat and answer back. They're yet to hit puberty, so they haven't got that grumpy phase.
Yeah.
I just kind of found my little teaching niche in that little age group.
Yeah. That's amazing. But you're right, you can plant that seed as well when you see them get excited about something, i.e. learning guitar or something. And I totally agree, because as well, one thing, there is a challenge that I've had with that age before, and it's sometimes when parents are really focused on the kind of academic side of the learning. And I always say, look, that'll come, but at the moment you just want to make them really love it, really love playing the guitar or whatever, you know, I think. And that in itself is a lovely thing. Like you say, when you see that 8, 9, 10-year-old just go, oh, this is cool.
I tell you what, I don't know if you find the same. Do you find that people aren't listening to enough music?
Yeah, I would say. Do you mean generally, or just
students that come in? I always ask, "What are you listening to?" They're like, I don't really listen to music. It's like, oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
so now I've got to do that job as well. Now here's a load of albums you've got to listen to.
Oh man, it's like School of Rock, isn't it? When he gives them the CDs to listen to,
yes.
Literally. But no, I mean, to be honest, a lot of the guys that I've taught recently are older students, so adults and stuff, and they're so, because obviously they're very focused on what it is they want to learn, and they're like a lot of them are like blues guys, rock guys, things like that. And then another student that I teach his dad as well as him, and he's I think he's 8 or 9 now. So fortunately, he's got his dad. Obviously, him and his dad listen to music all the time. They play together all the time, and that's really cool. But I do remember having a few kids a while ago that were kind of like that, and it's a real challenge, isn't it, to say, well,
strange.
What do you like, you know? But that's, as we know, such a big part of actually learning. I
think to me it's everything. If you're not listening to music, how are you?
Yeah.
I mean, imagine learning Spanish, but never going to Spain or never speaking to a Spanish person.
Exactly.
You're just learning from a book. It's like, well, you're never really going to learn Spanish.
Yep. But then I guess it comes down to what people's goals are as a musician, really, because I guess not everyone is learning an instrument to want to become professionals like we are. Maybe they might be doing it as a hobby, but equally, you're right. You just got to listen, man. Like, listen, find out. You know, yeah, it's true.
Just listen.
And
it's odd because music is now so accessible. Yeah, and I think maybe that accessibility has devalued it to the point where it's just taken for granted.
Yeah, that's something I've never thought of, to be honest. You know, I guess the days of CDs, you'd go and buy the album and then you'd put the album on and listen to it. Whereas now you can just go on your phone or on your computer or whatever and just go boom, and then maybe not even listen to the whole thing. I remember listening to, you know, full albums, obviously still do, but as a kid putting it on CD and going, oh yeah, this is cool, because maybe that was the thing. We were actively listening rather than listening in the background. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, and you owned. I mean, I'm sure it's the same with you. You accrue your pocket money over a week or two, and you go to, and you want to really make sure that this 10, 15 quid went 10, 15 quid's worth. And
Woolworth or HMV. Woolworths, rather.
Yeah.
HMV.
Well, I had a little independent record store.
Yeah.
And the great thing about that is you'd go in and you say, look, I got 10, I got Dirt, I got what else? And they're like, okay, go and listen to Bad Motorfinger. I was like, oh, what's that?
Yeah.
And there you go. And you're like, oh, fuck. But you really want to make sure that what you bought was... it was worth your time. It was worth your attention.
100%.
Your effort.
And you were getting your value out of it as well. Like you say, you wanted to make sure that hard-earned pocket money was something that you would use and actually listen to.
And you were really pissed off if you got home like, this album sucks.
Yeah.
Shit. The guy sold me up a river with this one.
Yeah, and then it would just sort of go under the bed somewhere, just never to be seen again.
Yeah.
But I think you make a good point. I think generally as well, there's a lot more distractions with, you know, listening to music on a computer nowadays. You then get distracted by, I don't know, YouTube or Facebook or something. So yeah, that side of it comes into it. But yeah, hopefully it comes back round, you know, the CD and vinyl thing and the sitting down and listening. Yeah.
Possibly. I mean, I think vinyl sales are up, but I think up from nothing is always, it's not a massive amount, but
yeah.
You know, I think vintage record stores are starting to sort of pop up a bit. I don't know. Maybe that's just a skewered.
I've got one on the high road near me, and I think it seems to do pretty well. They've hit a kind of a good niche again, haven't they? A lot of people collecting vinyl, I think, and stuff again. But yeah,
maybe. Yeah, I mean, everything's cyclical. Everything goes around again. The 70s are coming back again, so all those old Zeppelin records.
Oh man, they're going to be back in the charts again soon, I reckon. Hopefully.
Well, we've already had the Beatles, so Zeppelin and Deep Purple are next.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so with family life, lots of gigs, a little bit of teaching, what's your practice like? Do you call it practice?
Oh man, this is
do
why
you get time to do it? Do you just grab it when you can?
Well, I've been looking forward to talking to you about this because I want to get some advice, to be honest, because like I know that the premise of your podcast is, you know, the idea of continuing to get better, and I love that. But, you know, as musicians, it's something we should always be aiming for. But I've just found, to be honest, that the past sort of however many years, it's just active practice for me, like as in, you know, sitting down and shedding something or whatever. It just doesn't happen, and I don't know if it's I have got time. That's the thing. I'm not so insanely busy that I can't just do it. I just think I'm trying to work out what it is. But if I compare it to when I was younger, I used to practice loads, you know, and would sit down and do it. But yeah, so to answer your question, not great, but I'm always doing things like you said, always listening to new stuff and things like that. And I kind of consider that to be, I guess, maybe part of practicing, really.
Yeah. So the days of sitting down with a click and a book is gone, or just not there at the moment? Was that ever part of your practicing?
Yeah, I definitely did it a bit, but now I do that. I guess if I sit down and play, it's the kind of, you know, when you just put on a backing track and you whittle a little bit, which again, I guess is practicing, but it's like you're not really focused, are you, on anything? But yeah, I really like the idea of just having this kind of structured practice routine and going, you know, okay, 45 minutes to an hour or whatever, I'm going to do 15 minutes of, you know, like you say, click work or something, or you know, kind of break it up into bits. But yeah, to answer your question, not great. But because again, so much of what we do now is a lot of song learning and things like that, and I don't want to blame that, but that takes a lot of mental space, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Doing that and like charting out songs, this sort of thing. But I'm massively inspired by people that do have a practice routine and really stick to it, because it's really tough.
I mean, I did it. I mean, I've had lessons with Martin Goulding on and off for a couple of years, and I have never seen a human being structure their practice like he does. It's like a fucking robot, and he's shown me his practice sheet. Bearing in mind,
isn't it?
you know, he's a single guy. He lives on his own, and he'll do like 20 minutes of alternate picking, 20 minutes of sweeping, 20 minutes of tapping, 20 minutes of this, 20 minutes, and he plays drums as well. So you do like 20 minutes of drums, 20 minutes of band. Wow. And it's like, fuck, it's like, this is my 8-hour practice routine. I was like, and you do that every day. He's like, I tried to. And I was like,
8 hours, wow. I was
That's
like, amazing.
Hell, man. I was like, all right, okay, I've got an hour at best sometimes.
Yeah.
But when I actually did what he'd said, just do it, just 15 minutes of this, 15 minutes of that, 15 minutes of improvising, and then you're done. Like it just, the fucking ceiling, the floor came up. Yeah. And then when you stop doing it, it just falls back down again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I
just don't have... Sorry, go ahead.
I just don't have the consistency to do it. I just kind of like, kids come in, fucking the wife's come back. She's like, oh, I've got to work today. I'm not working today. Oh, I've actually taken the day off today. It's like, do you want to go and do something? Yeah, I want to do like. All right, okay, fine. I'll go for breakfast.
But
it's just shit that gets in the way.
I guess that's kind of what I'm falling into as well at the moment, and I totally hear you, man. Totally agree. Yeah. I think it's a common problem. And Martin, I've never had private lessons with Martin, but I went to ICMP, and Martin was I don't know if he still is, or was one of the teachers at the time.
No, I think he left.
And absolutely loved lessons with Martin, man. He is
Yeah.
just, not only is he just an insanely good player, like just a beast picker and all of that, but that I felt really helped me was that structure that he kind of put on us. I really enjoyed that. Of, you know, the exercises. If you're working on technique and stuff, Martin is the guy. Like, I mean, he really is.
He showed, or not showed me, but he told me the list of people that he teaches. I'm like, it's like everybody in the West End. They all come for lessons with him.
Yeah.
It's like, fucking hell, man.
Yeah. And I think they're not only they get that kind of side of they're kind of technique sharpeners, really, that kind of thing. I'm not that Martin can't teach other stuff, of course he can, but like that's kind of his proper forte, isn't it? That real focused technical work. All the teachers that I've had over the years, nobody has sharpened up all of my playing as quickly as he has. Yeah,
and it's just really, and I've carried that into my lessons with my students. And although I'm not doing like 16th note alternate picking, I'm just like, okay, so you want to play from a G to a C chord? Okay, just go G, C, G, C, G, C, G, and then rest. Shake your hands out, go again, do it again. Do that for 20 minutes a day, and in a week you'll nail it.
Yeah, and it's that systematic approach, isn't it? That I think Martin has. That it's a case of just do it. This is the prescribed thing, and do it in this way with enough consistency, it'll get there. You know, I think, love it, love it, man.
I think that's the key word is consistency. If you do it, and you don't have to do it for long. I don't know if there was a book here that I read 2 years ago. I can't remember what it's called. It's like The Art of Practice or How to Practice. I can't really fucking remember.
Yeah.
But it was the same. It was the same concept. It was not how do we get faster, not how do we get quicker. It was how do we get better, and everybody's measure of better is different.
Right.
And he said that I'd speak to classical cellists that only have 10 minutes a day to practice, and so they do a minute of sight reading, they'll do a minute of scales, a minute of this, and then a minute of improvising, then a minute of vibrato, and then they'll do that for 5 minutes and then just repeat it.
Yeah.
And then that was it. That's their practice.
Yeah.
But they did it every single day.
It's so consistent and it's so kind of focused and systematic, isn't it? It's like almost treating it like a gym workout, really. You know, you go to the gym, you do whatever on a certain day, this and that. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's, for me and for a lot of people, that's the best way of practicing, because you can almost, it's like a tick list, isn't it? And then once that's done, you go
tick list.
Cool. Yeah. You go, right, cool, we're done now. I can tick that off for today, and then I'll come back to it tomorrow. But it's interesting what you said about kind of what people view as like improvement in their playing and stuff. Like, a lot of people want to like play fast, don't they, and things like that. And it's like, well, that I always say, you know, speed is a byproduct of accuracy. You have to be slow and accurate first before you start going quick. But I wrote a course recently for there's an online kind of resource called Your Guitar Academy, and I did a bit of course creation for them, like write the courses, go down and film them and things like that. Yeah. And there was one course that they asked me to do that was called speed building, and I was like, well, it's a funny one, because I was like, how do I even approach that? Because it's, what sort of speed are we talking? Are we talking technical speed, blah, blah? And in the end, I just said, right, what I'm going to do is try and keep it musical. So I made a backing track, and I basically had like 5 sort of fragments, 5 like licks that were sort of increasing difficulty. Yeah. And, you know, it started with sort of like 8th notes, and then like, I think the next one with 8th notes triplets, and then into 16ths. But they were all kind of musical fragments. It wasn't just, you know, these kind of mathematical exercises. And I basically said what we were just talking about. I was like, okay, you just got to play these systematically. But the point is, you're increasing your speed by learning these different subdivisions, but you're also staying really musical and not, you know, that's what I was trying to get at with it. But it's such a broad thing, isn't it? The idea of speed.
I mean, it depends who you are. I mean, if you've been playing guitar for 2 months, the idea of going from a C chord to a D chord, I don't know, in like 100 BPM in crotchets. Yeah, that's a fucking challenge. Or are you trying to get triplet 16ths at 140 BPM? I think the process from going from either one is, you need to find, and this is something that I learned from Martin. He said, there's no point doing it slow. You have to find where you're falling apart, where you're just on the edge.
The precipice.
That's where you stay. And then even if you're on that for a week, fuck it, pump it up a little bit and see how it feels to really push it, and then bring it back and just fluctuate that tempo. Whatever it is, it's irrelevant what the tempo is. You just have to find where you're falling apart,
where that breaking point is. Yeah,
just wobble backwards and forwards.
And
the idea that you have to make it feel uncomfortable to push yourself, otherwise you're just not going to get anywhere. I totally agree with that. I think always as well, I remember when I was younger, I was guilty of trying to play stuff like too fast before I could do it, but I think ultimately it did help, because you are pushing and you're not resting on your laurels too much. But like you're definitely the idea of just finding that tempo and then sitting on it for a bit. And then I always say like 5 BPM increments, because you don't really even notice 5. If you've practiced something for like a while at a certain speed and then you bump it up by 5, you can barely feel it. Like it's not, but it's enough that in a short space of time, you can go up by like 20, 30 BPM, you know? Yeah.
So
I remember the very first couple of lessons, I always harking on back to Martin's lessons, but he found me a little exercise and I kind of got it. And he went, okay, bump it up 20 BPM. I was like, 20? He's like, yeah. I was like, you said there's no point doing it in 5s or whatever. Just see what 20 feels like, because you'll be surprised. I was like, oh, okay.
That's brilliant. That is brilliant.
And then he's like, okay, take it back 5. Okay, take it back another. All right, there we go.
So he's zoning in on that. Like, nice.
But it's the idea of getting better. I mean, what's your take on it, getting better?
I think.
And another good one is, how's it changed over the years?
How has getting better changed?
How have you viewed getting better? How's that changed over the years? Like you said, you would always focus on speed. Is it do you still view getting faster as the pinnacle of getting better, or has it changed?
No, I mean, I kind of came up as a rock metal guy, so I was always mad into all the techniques and stuff back in the day, and like still at my core, that's my kind of thing, you know. So I guess from that side of it, the technical thing was what I was always striving for. But now, I guess getting better, really. That's a really tough question. It's something that you need to answer to be so focused, because you've got to focus on what it is to get better. Otherwise, who can help you? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But I think I went through the whole kind of jazz-ish phase where I was like, cool. And I like jazz, and I tried to play a bit of it and this. And then I was like, well, do I like it enough to listen to really, really go mad? And because it's, as we know, like speaking a language or like anything, you have to really immerse yourself in it. Yeah. And I was kind of happy going, do you know what? I'm going to sidestep this for now. Yeah. I think for me, just sort of, I guess getting better at like writing, things like that, songwriting, that side of it is a way more appealing to me now, like songwriting, production, the more kind of practical things rather than the just playing. But it doesn't mean I've hit a place where I'm happy with my playing, because I'm obviously not. No one, well, maybe some people are, but I think you've always got to try and push.
Yeah.
So, what about you? What's your thing on it? Getting better?
I mean, a similar kind of thing, like post-COVID, everything was just technique, because my alternate picking fucking sucked. And that was the thing I really wanted to focus on. And I've kind of got it to a place where I'm kind of happy with it. I could probably do a bit more work on it. But I found that after I'd have so many lessons, I was doing so many practice routines, I was doing so much work on technique, that I went to a jam night and they were like, take a solo. It's just a blues solo. I couldn't fucking do it. I was all over the place. I was like, what the fuck? This is bread and butter stuff, doing this.
Yeah.
And so I came home that night, I had an old Strat, I tuned it down to E flat, and I just put a Hendrix record on and just started fucking jamming. Yeah. And I was like, that is what I need to focus on. And I had a chat with, do you know Jim Clark?
Jim, I don't know.
Well, I had a chat with him. I think he was a guy that studied under Sean Baxter, and I think he teaches. I think I can't remember what school I think he's taught at all the big schools. And he said you should write out like almost like a top trumps card. Like, what are your top trumps? What are your strengths? And I sort of really sat down and think about it. And I was like, well, I wouldn't say like I'm a technical shredder, but I'm really good at just slotting in with a band and just grooving and just sitting in a pocket. I not only I think I'm pretty good at that, I really enjoy it as well.
Man, I agree. That's my favorite thing nowadays is, sod the solos. I love a good solo, but I think just sitting in a band is where it's at. You know,
something that's just a little bit groovy. You're just almost John Frusciante type thing. You're just playing between 2 or 3 notes, and you're just trying to make it groove as well as you can.
So satisfying, man.
I was like, yes, that's not only do I like it, I think I'm pretty good at it. And I love doing like big atmospheric stuff. I like creating soundscapes, loads of delays, loads of reverbs, but playing very, very little, but just having it breathe. Like I love doing that. He's like, cool, these are all really good things to focus on, and these are good things to work on. And these are the things that will get you hired.
100%.
Because you're good at them, you like them, and it's kind of nichey as well.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, for me, it's just that, and I've tried as hard as I can to try and scale back the amount of notes I play if I'm improvising. Just let the fucking thing breathe. Just play a C note over an A minor. Just let the world hear what that sounds like. Now 100%. Play a B, and there's that just a little bit of tension. Now bring it back.
Let it sit and just percolate a little bit, and then on to the next one.
That's kind of what I'm really starting to focus on. And
do you know what though? I think it's like sorry, was his name Jim Clark? Did you say that? Yeah. So as Jim said, I think it's so good that you've identified those things, because really, as musicians nowadays, if we don't really know what our strengths are and what we're bringing to something, then how can we expect anyone else to? If you know what I mean, it's sort of if it's really vague and we don't really know that. So I think the fact that you've identified that is huge. It's really, really important and really good.
If you're the same, like you go through phases like of stuff that you want to learn. Like every now and again, I'll drop into a little jazz phase and I'll put on some Joe Pass records. Because I can listen to that stuff. I can listen to Joe Pass. I can listen to Miles Davis, John Coltrane. Whereas some of the more fusiony jazz, I'm like, it's too far out there for me.
Yeah, sometimes it's a bit much, isn't it?
Going back to like the 50s, I can listen to that and I can absorb it. I can kind of play it. And then all of a sudden, the next day, I'm like, my country playing isn't very good. So I'll put on a country. And then you find you're just dropping between these little genres of music.
Yeah.
It's difficult to get focused on it.
Yeah,
Instagram never helps, because you're scanning through Instagram like, oh, fucking hell, it's another 14-year-old kid in Japan. Look at him.
Way to make you feel inadequate.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, I've got to start my tapping again. But
yeah. But again, I think that's part of our job as well, because being doing music as a job, we're required to wear many hats, really, aren't we, stylistically? So I think, I agree. But I think identifying that niche, like you said, is really key. For me, I've been doing a lot of like sort of R&B like stuff lately. Like there's a few artists that I've been working with, like modern R&B type thing. So a lot of gigs I've been doing just accompanying on acoustic guitar, and I really enjoy kind of arranging these quite produced R&B songs for just acoustic. Yeah, and I feel like it's kind of maybe a strength for me, just being able to kind of incorporate the kind of rhythmic elements, pick up on some of the bass lines, the chords. So that's kind of a niche that I'm enjoying at the moment. Yeah. And it's quite useful really, because there's always going to be these gigs where you're like accompanying a singer and you need to, arrange their song on just one guitar, and it's fun. Yeah. So
it is fun. Yeah. It's cool. You get to sort of pick apart the bones of a song, and I think the good thing about doing things like that is you have to listen to every instrument. It's like, what is the bass doing? Yeah. So, the bass, I didn't even notice the bass is doing that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see if I can get that in.
100%. And get all the fruity chords in and all that as well. Like it's tricky, but it's really, really good. But yeah, I think. Sorry to go back to the country thing as well. I'm really digging like sort of all sorts of like Americana and kind of country stuff at the minute. Like there's such great tones and whatnot on there, and such great playing on those sorts of styles. But yeah, it's ever changing, isn't it? Like it's always. I always want to listen to something that's got groove though at heart. Really, that's kind of my bag. Like, so I love if we're talking like fusion and things like that. Like my preferred fusion is someone like Mark Lettieri or someone like that, because it comes from a place of groove, and then obviously his vocabulary and everything is insane as well. But
you have to give me that name again. What was his name?
Mark Lettieri, from Snarky Puppy.
Do you know, it's a name that I've heard. I've not listened to anything.
Yeah, he's great, man. He's like he's just got that super cool kind of inside outside playing style, but his rhythm playing is sick as well. It's really groovy, really modern. he's done like some cool baritone albums as well, where he's playing all baritone. It's really sweet.
Oh, that's something I want to get into. I don't have a baritone guitar.
No, me neither. But they're so cool, man. I love that.
Yeah.
Like you said about tuning to E flat. I always think E flat sounds better.
Just there's something about it. I don't know what it is.
It really
what
does.
is it about a Strat in E flat that just has it has a vibe to it?
Yeah, I think maybe because Strats can sometimes be a bit weedy sounding. Not always, but sometimes. And I guess maybe it adds a bit of beef when you go down to E flat, you know. It's kind of
slightly looser strings. You just play a little looser, you play a little freer. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I Mark Lettieri, check him out for sure. He's great, man. And I guess, you know, fusion wise as well, like if I'm talking that style of playing, I much prefer the John Schofield one chord funk vibes rather than like the way back when, you know, tons of changes and going mad over it with a it's fusion that's kind of rooted in funk and blues is my sort of bag, you know, I think. But yeah, I guess I don't know, it could change again, who knows, could go full on Alan Holdsworth one day.
Oh man, that's another name that I tried listening to Alan Holdsworth, you know, and a technical genius and a musical wizard. I just can't listen to it.
It's about it's too out there, isn't it? Yeah, it is super out there, like super out there. And like, I guess Mike, again, love Mike Stern, but he's not my first choice of listening when it comes to fusion stuff. Not a massive fan of his tone. Maybe that's why, but I know it's again super characteristic of him. But it's just not. I like guys that kind of dig in a bit more. You know, that get a bit more. That's Schofield's tone for me is the one, man. It's just so sick. Like that bridge pickup, slightly dirty thing. Oh, it's wicked.
But all his playing is just rooted in blues as well.
Yeah.
And it's just stepping out quite a bit and then coming back. And
he's just so interesting playing over one chord. This is what I love about. He's like the master of that, you know. Single chord, and he'll just play. He could play for 10, 15, 20 minutes and you wouldn't get bored. It's just so cool, man. So something that I really aspire to, like to be, you know, have some of that cool vocabulary in there. That Schofield-isms.
Yes. The other thing I was going to talk about is do you think there's anything in music education that you see, actually that you don't see, that really needs to be spoken about? Like lessons you see on YouTube or Instagram, it's like people aren't talking about this, and this is.
I think I do know that a lot of people generally talk about, and there's a lot of players out there that really ram it home. But I think the importance of transcribing needs to be continued to, you know, be pushed all the time, because I think it's the single most important thing a musician can do. Because again, you're listening, but you're also learning and writing down at the time. You don't necessarily have to write it down, but if you do want to write it down, but even if you're just learning and getting it on the fretboard, you know. So I would say that, but I do know it's not that doesn't exist, but I just think it's sometimes a little bit missed. Maybe, is that fair to say?
I agree wholeheartedly. And when I ask people this question, it's probably the number one answer. It's like people just need to be transcribing. People need to be, because again, that's actively listening, actively learning. And if you're writing down, then you're working on reading or even if it's just tab. But it just comes back to listening. And I think there's this culture when people are posting stuff online, whether it's YouTube or Instagram or TikTok, the amount of people that leave a comment that just say tabs.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, come on, dude. Why don't you work it out? That's what I did. Why don't you give it a go? But I think
maybe people don't know where to start with that, how to transcribe, you know. But really, it's just kind of a case of doing, isn't it? And learning some of the conventions, and depending on if you're transcribing a lead line or a rhythm part or whatever, like obviously the rules are slightly different. Like if you're identifying chords by ear and stuff, it's different to identifying like a lead passage or whatever. But I think it's just a doing thing, you know?
I mean, I don't know. How old were you? What year did you start playing?
I was 9 and I'm 32 now. So my maths is awful. I don't know. What's 32 minus 9? 22 years. 23. So my maths is awful.
What?
23 years.
There was no internet when you started, was there?
It was kind of like, it was, I guess when I was very young, it was all the dial-up and stuff, but the broadband was starting to come in as I was kind of playing. But to be honest, I had I learned most of my stuff from like books and things, you know, initially. And then like I started off doing classical actually guitar. That's why sight reading and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's why I mean, I don't do it loads at the moment, but I'm a reasonably good reader, and that I'm really thankful for that stage to kind of helping with that. But yeah, I mean, trying to think, the internet was helpful in terms of like, I remember going on Ultimate Guitar as a teen, you know, looking at the tabs, all of that stuff. Because I was playing loads of metal, you know, and like wanted to learn all the solos and everything. So that was really useful. But sorry, what was your question? Meaning,
so
like
it was so your like early stages of learning. How much reading was there, and how much like putting the record on and trying to learn from ear was there?
I would say it was probably about 50-50. I think it was quite, because I remember doing tons of like working out riffs by ear when I was younger. Lots of like, you know, Avenged Sevenfold were one of my favorite bands back in the day. I used to work out all their riffs. You know, Metallica, all of these things, and I think that really helped because it wasn't just chords. You know, there were certain things that I had to listen to and work out. But I remember I went through a phase of just transcribing loads of like more complex stuff as well, like certain, you know, Robin Ford solos, whatnot, and actually, you know, putting them into Ultimate Guitar and sorry, not Guitar Pro. You know, and actually doing all that. And then at ICMP, there was a bit of transcription as well, you know, on the course, which was kind of similar, just doing it. But yeah, I think I'd say half and half, like, because I used books and tabs a bit, but then so much of it was ear as well. Yeah. And what about you? What were you?
Well, I started in 98. I think I got my guitar. So, there was no Ultimate Guitar. There was no. It was just internet was in its infancy, and it was a lot of putting records on, trying to work it out. I remember I worked out the whole Dookie album by Green Day, and there was a guy I used to work with who played, and he said, "Just do that. Just put the record on and see if you can learn a whole album." And it took me about. I mean, it was power chords, Green Day, so it didn't take particularly long. But yeah, it was about a week of learning. And I went back in on like the Monday. It's like, I've done it. I can play the whole album. And it was like this huge achievement. And I was really, really pleased with myself.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Like, and I always remember doing a lot of Green Day stuff as well, because I feel like with transcription, it's a great place to start because it is very power chord based. And you're just learning these conventions, different chord movements and things like that. And yeah, I found stuff like that really useful, really useful.
And you find, and trying to link up like a chord progression. It's like, well, that, if I follow the root note of that chord progression, that is almost looking like a pentatonic scale. So that means that I can improvise using a pentatonic. Oh, fucking hell. And then these little things start linking together.
Yeah. And that's you. That's entirely you that's discovered that yourself. And that's an exciting thing, isn't it? When someone hasn't had to like tell you or, you know, walk you through how to do that. But maybe the idea of transcribing comes back to what we were saying earlier, in that, do people listen to enough music generally nowadays? And maybe that's why transcription is not possibly as popular as it should be. I don't know.
It could be. I mean, I know personally. I mean, I personally think Spotify sucks. I hate it, but it's just so fucking convenient that when someone sends me a set list, I can just compile it onto Spotify. And I'm finding that I'm not even listening to enough music because
it's almost like option paralysis. There's so much of it on there.
But the thing is, because I don't know. It's going to sound really stupid, but because I don't know what to look for or what to search for, because I want something new, Spotify just regurgitates the same shit that I've listened to for the last 5 years. And so, like, okay, well, I'll just listen to a podcast on this drive home.
No,
so
I totally get it.
I've got to really start to break out. It's like, what about Kenny Wayne Shepherd? I've not listened to him before. But I remember seeing him popping up in guitar magazines 20 years ago.
Well, what I do is I've just got a playlist that's just called To Listen. And whenever I hear or see something, I just add an album from X artist or whatever on there, and then I just come back to it eventually. And it's now like 1,500 songs long, so I need to actually start doing it. But I do find like there's like the New Music Monday playlist and things like that is generally good if you have a little look on those. But I'm with you. Like Spotify, obviously, it's a whole other thing. Like the in terms of, you know, is it any good for musicians and stuff, like royalties wise? And that's a whole other argument. But I think as a tool, it's awesome. It's really good. But I totally hear what you're saying about the options on there are just mad. Like it's just
yeah, I mean, I guess maybe. I mean, my car doesn't have a CD player. I can't go out and buy a CD. I don't have a CD player anymore. So if I have to go and buy a CD, it's like, well, how the fuck am I even going to play it? None of my computers have CD-ROM drives. So
I was going to say the disk drives in the CD-ROM drives rather than computers are the thing of the past. You've got to get the external one now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I know.
But I am building a studio in the back garden of the house we just moved in.
Awesome.
One of my purchases is going to be a record player.
Wicked.
Just so that I can have something physical to actually listen to.
Yeah. And the act of like putting on a record, was what we were saying earlier. It's the event of doing that actually makes you kind of sit and listen, doesn't it? Rather than like put something on Spotify in the background. You know, it's a different thing. It's the whole thing. You get the vinyl out, you put it on there, you get in a comfy seat, and you just listen. Yeah.
Yeah. If I smoke cigars, I'd do that too.
Like a little smoking jacket on, just cigar. Yes. But I think having a room like that, is it going to kind of double up as like a studio room as well for you, like a sort of a music space,
music room, studio, recording, teaching, all that kind of stuff.
Awesome, man. That's the dream. Love that.
I'm looking forward to it. And I was talking to my wife yesterday, and she said she's like, this is our stopgap home. I'd like to move to somewhere else. I'm like, if we're building a studio, we're fucking staying here. Unless it can be picked up and moved, because I don't want to go through that again.
Yeah. I think that's a very fair thing on your side for sure.
I think so. But we all know what happens when men and women, husband and wives, butt heads. We know he usually yields.
But that sounds. I think it's so cool as well to have that room at the end, because you're almost separating. Is it? You said it's going to be in the garden, the music room,
right at the back of the garden.
Wicked. Yeah, because you can just kind of separate that music life to your home life, and it's like going to work essentially, isn't it? That's what I love about the idea of this little separate studio room. Like
at the moment, one day this is all kind of set up in the front. I mean, we only moved in 2 months ago, but if I could pan the camera and show, there's fucking boxes up here. There's all shit down here. It's like all of this stuff needs to go into the studio. But it's not. I haven't got that space to kind of to work. Yeah,
but you know what? That I think even having that dedicated space in terms of a practice for your practice as well is really helpful, because you're getting into that headspace when you go in that room. Like that room is for that reason. If you know what I mean, it's not there's a TV in there or something so you can watch that as well or whatever. I don't know, but you know what I mean.
Yes. The other thing that I wanted to ask, and I kind of throw this on people: if you had to relearn everything, you had to do it all over again, is there anything you do differently?
Oh man, that's a really good question. I'd probably. Man, that's so difficult. I'd probably stick more regularly with some sort of sight reading thing, because as I say, although I can read and I'm pretty good at it, it's always a bit rusty for me. So I think maintaining a level of that, I would put up there for sure. In terms of other stuff, I'm kind of happy really how it all sort of panned out. A lot of my learning has just come from playing with other people, which in itself, again, is such an important thing, isn't it? In terms of development as a musician is getting out and playing. I think that side of it is good. Other than that, do you know what? I think stylistically, I'm kind of happy with what I did. I don't, really, really love jazz enough to be like, oh, I should have put more time into that. But it's fine. I can always come back to it at some point.
We got a couple of decades left. Well, many decades, many decades left.
Exactly. Yeah. What would you do differently in terms of you, or if anything?
Kind of thing. I would definitely I remember when I went to college and we did sight reading lessons. The teacher would say, and all sight reading teachers say the same thing: just do little and often. Just do a little bit. I didn't do it little, and I didn't do it often. I did it few and far between, and I just about passed my exam. But I actually wanted to do the degree course when I was at the ACM. And they wouldn't let me do it. They said your sight reading isn't good enough.
Really? That's interesting.
And I was like, oh, okay. And I remember speaking to, who was it, Stuart Ryan, and he said, fucking hell, you were there obviously when they cared about music, because now they'll just let anyone in.
Yeah.
You've got $9,000, yeah, you can come on in, do the degree. So the other thing, I think I would definitely. I mean, I went through a phase when I first got my first proper touring paid gig. I just didn't do any practice at all, and all I was playing was the songs for that show.
Yeah.
And then when I started to get other work in, I was like, "Holy fuck, I can't do that anymore."
Yeah.
I would definitely just try and be as consistent with practicing. Just play something else. Play something. Just try and transcribe this. Try and learn this. Try and have a go at this.
100%.
Don't get stuck in the just gigging, because you're just solidifying what you can already do.
Yeah, exactly.
Start doing other stuff.
Yeah. But it also, I guess it comes down to what, like for me, the reading thing, because I've done a very small amount of theatre stuff, but not loads. And like, it's never been massively a thing that I've needed to do for a lot of the work that I've done, you know? Yeah. And I guess maybe you're similar, but you know, it's something I really want to, you know, I know a lot of friends and stuff who are working in the West End. I'm sure you do as well. And like something that I'd really like to do eventually, but you know, I'm aware that I need to kind of sharpen that side of my game first. I think as well, West End gigs are I've really noticed since having a family, I'm like, I can really see the appeal of that now. Because I remember before I was like, it scared me a little bit, like the idea of just doing the same gig each day. And, you know, because I like variety, you know, doing lots of different things. But now I'm like, oh, that's a sweet deal. Like,
do you know, I did a run of Grease in the spring, and I did a run of Legally Blonde as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And the fuck, like you go in, you set your gear up on Monday, and then you're just in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, done. I was like, this is just great. I turn up 15 minutes before the show, plug in, do the show, unplug. I can literally put the guitar there, and I'm out, and I'm done, and I'm home.
Yeah.
I was like, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
And it was kind of similar when I depped for you for those Adele shows. It was the same thing. It was just turn up, plug in, do this gig, finish at 10. Drive home. But
it's a nice perk. It's a nice perk.
I could do this more often.
Yeah. A friend of mine does the ABBA Voyage show. He plays guitar in that, and I think they finish at like 9:15.
Yeah.
I was like, mate, that is. You can always go to a restaurant for dinner for a couple of hours after and enjoy your evening. It's great.
Yeah. I had. Do you know Liam Holmes?
Yeah. I know Holmesy well. Yeah.
I had Liam on a function gig a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he said, I've only just started getting back into function stuff. And he said, first gig back, like second sets at 9:00. He's like, 9:00? That's usually finish time. I'm usually midway through the second act.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's definitely a different beast. But I really enjoy it. And the start of this year, I was like, I'm going to do more musical theatre stuff.
Definitely. Yeah. It's really good.
Pushing myself on that, and it's good. I mean, it sharpens up your reading. It gets you doing things you haven't done before.
And the musicianship is just insane. You know, all of those guys in the West End are just phenomenally good. Right?
I mean, I'm not on West End yet. Just amateur amdrams, local things. I mean,
but still the same deal. You know, like
same pad, same deal. But it's just I just wish I'd sharpened up my reading 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah. It's one of those things, isn't it? I always find that resources for like learning, it's a funny one, sight reading, because there's a few that I used to use. Like there's the modern reading textbook for like rhythms and stuff. That's really good. Like Louis Belson was it? I think.
Yeah, I've got that.
Yeah, that's a really good book. But then in terms of melodic stuff, there is a few things, but I think the best way to practice sight reading is to just get hold of a pad, because that's a real world thing. You know, it's not an exercise. Get hold of a pad and kind of just work through it and you know, do that basically.
Well, I don't know if you can see it there. I've got the real book.
Oh yeah.
So I just bought the real book. I opened up page 1. It's like, can I read that? No, that's too tricky. That's in B. There's one in C. Have a go at that. Yeah. And I just work my way through the pen. I play everything in C. Yeah. Then close the book, open it up, right, everything in G. Yeah. Now everything in F. And it's just, it's a fucking slog. But I reached a point where it stopped being the B, C. Okay, there's the C. And then you start looking at a phrase. Then you start looking at a bar. And then all of a sudden I'm like, holy fuck, this has just opened up a door that I didn't realize. I can now well, I can now kind of read quite okay.
Yeah.
And the idea that then all of these music textbooks that I've got, all the dots are now making sense.
Yeah.
And that's like, oh, wow. So that means I can just buy a PDF of anything and play it.
Yeah.
The novelty.
Yeah. It's like you feel like the kind of blindfold has been taken off almost, and you're like, well, I can see now, like this.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a real nice breakthrough to have, like just to be able to read music freely like that. But I think it was Adam Goldsmith I saw said recently, because he does a lot of reading type things in terms of like a lot of sessions that require reading, like film sessions and whatnot and things like that. And I think he's got a really good approach to it in that he says it's not a talent, it's a learned. I think I'm paraphrasing, but I'm sure he said something like that. It's a learned skill, like anything else. You just got to kind of do it.
Yeah.
And I saw him post something like that recently, and I was like, that's really good, like really true.
Yeah.
It's like I guess maybe some people have a bit more of an aptitude to be able to read a bit more naturally, but I think with the work you can do it. Anyone can kind of do it.
Definitely. I do love his little Instagram reels. I am trying to get him on, but he's just super busy.
Yeah. Adam's really cool. Yeah, I met him once or twice. He did a gig in a pub a few years ago, and I popped down. It's really good. Great player as well, man.
Yes,
so good.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
good.
those when we talk about the West End session guys, that's him.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess Adam's been around for so long in terms of he's been in the game for a long time, and you name it, he's done it really. So it's such a good source of info on a lot of different things.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, anything else coming up for the rest of the year?
Got a few doing Echobelly this summer with
Johnny.
You know Johnny, don't you? Yeah. JB on drums. So got a few festivals. We've had a few festivals already with them. Got a few more coming up. Got a few. What else? We've got a possible tour in November with them as well.
Cool.
Other than that, just a few other artist bits. The usual other, function type gigs over the summer, those sorts of things.
Yeah.
But it's looking pretty busy. August through to like October, November and stuff is all right.
That's good.
But yeah, that's that sort of thing. But it's quite a mixed bag for me at the minute, because obviously Echobelly's kind of Britpop, rock vibes, and then like I'm working with this amazing new R&B artist called Lola, who's totally different. She's this pop R&B thing, and then work with a guy called St.Lundi, who's kind of like pop Coldplay-esque kind of vibes. That's a lot of the guitar parts of what you mentioned earlier, that kind of very textural, thing. So it's like already in those three different projects, it's totally different kind of things to do, which as I said earlier, I love the variety. I really enjoy dipping in and out of things like that. So just
that's cool.
That really keeping busy with those.
What are you using live? Are you still amps or?
Well, so for Echobelly, it's amps. So I use my Lazy J J20, old school. Just straight in with pedal board. I use my kind of, it's not insanely distorted for that gig, but I use my Tumnus just push the amp a little bit. So and my telly. I always, telly on everything for me. I use telly on St.Lundi as well, and it's a whole different bag, but it just gets the job done, and it's robust, and it's like, if I could only ever use one guitar ever again, it would be a telly, I'm sure.
I don't know a gig that I've done that I couldn't have done it with a telly.
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
You mean without a telly? Yeah.
Done it without...
yeah, I know what you meant.
There isn't a gig in the world that I couldn't do using a telly. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It just works, man, and it just sits in the mix for everything perfectly. So for that I'm using an amp, but for the pop stuff, it's my FM9 Fractal. Always run out stereo and always on, in ears and stuff. That's the nice thing about Echobelly as well. It's quite old school. We use wedges. It's like
really?
No click, no track, just straight in. I love it, man. Just turn the amp up loud. But the other stuff's a little bit more kind of, click orientated and things like that. So
how do you find the FM9?
Absolutely unreal. Like I love it. Absolutely love it. In terms of modelers, I mean, I used to use the Helix, the full-size Line 6 Helix, which I really liked. Really, really cool. But I had an Axe Effects back in the day, an older one, which I sold a good few years ago. and I could never like get back to the tones on that. I was like, I really want that. And then I eventually took the plunge and got the FM9 when it came out, and it is
you had a spare $2,000 just kicking around.
I was like, I think I sold something actually. I can't remember what it was. I just went because I was like, I need this, this, in my arsenal, and it's great. I thoroughly recommend it. I've not used the Quad Cortex actually, the neural one, but that looks really good as well. But yeah, it's this how customizable it is for me. The FM9, you just like it's so deep if you want it to be. Like you can go in and EQ like smallest silly little things, but if you want to do that, then it's just killer. But just the feel for me, the feel of it, like the feel feels like an amp. It's mad.
Yeah.
Like, it's really realistic.
Yes.
So yeah, what are you using? Do you use a modder at all?
I got the Helix Stomp, the little 3-button.
Great. Yeah.
I fucking hated it.
Did you not like it? Really?
Didn't like it at all. And I was like, I just don't like like all the overdrive sounds in it just sounded cheap. They sounded like the old Zoom pedals that you got back in the early 2000s. I was like, these just sound awful. And then I just bought the little Boss IR2, and I just run that on a clean channel, put it at the end of a board, and just have a regular pedal board with all my pedals running into that.
Great, yeah.
And I'm happy with that.
That's
but
awesome.
I am looking at possibly a Quad Cortex or the FM9 if I can get the cash for it. But
I think there's a learning curve with anything like that, really. But once you kind of get around that, like I agree, because I've got a Stomp, I've got a board as well that has a Stomp on it, an HX Stomp.
Yeah.
And it's like it's good, but it's not quite as good as the FM9 for me. And it does take a bit of tweaking, like you said. Like I remember at first I was like, it's not really doing it, but then things like got some more different IRs and stuff in there, and all of these little different things. Once you dial it in a little bit, it's better.
The problem with me is I don't like delving into things and going around and peeling back all these different layers. I just want something that I can put in, I can turn it on and go, that's good enough. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
And the Boss pedal was just like that. I just don't have the time to sit and spend 4 hours picking apart various EQs for things. But I actually took an amp on a gig a couple of weeks ago. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to take my amp, and it fucking broke.
Oh, what?
The output valves just went. I was like, bollocks. So now I've got to use the thing.
What amp was it?
It's a little 2-rock.
Oh, okay. Right, nice. Yeah, mate, that's better.
It's I took it in. So there's another 200 quid. He said down the train. He said, both output valves just gone. I gave it a service clean up, and now it's fine. So
ship shape. Yeah,
I'm going to take that out at the weekend and see what it sounds like.
Yeah, man. I always come back to amps are just so much. They're not more fun, but they are just. No, they are more fun, I think. Yeah, they're more fun than playing with a modeler. They are, because you just move in air and you just, it's just nothing will ever match it, really. But I think the FM9 gets pretty damn close, to be honest.
I think if I'm going to do more musical theatre stuff, I think it's just easier because you're usually in this cramped little space.
Yeah.
And there's some tracks that need a wah pedal. I'm like, I haven't got the thing to click the pedal on. I haven't got the space. So I had to run my wah pedal through just a single on-off switch.
Oh, right. Okay.
Like a latching switch. And I left the wah on and just turned the latch on and off to get the wah on and off. I was like, do you know what? I'm back to tap dancing for all these different... I need something better that's just clean, overdrive with delay, with delay with a bit of reverb, and just one button.
Yeah, to be honest, that's how I tend to organise my modelers, because I'm similar to you. Like I don't do tons and tons of mad tweaking. I kind of have my stock sounds, and then I edit them, as and when the gig needs it. Like I've got a good, like I'll organize it in snapshots, like you say. You've got your clean, then you've got maybe a clean with some chorus, and then ambient clean, crunch plus lead, that sort of thing. And then I pretty much just use that for every gig. I don't. I've got my stock sounds that I like and they work, and unless it's something really niche, I don't tend to change too much, But it's a game changer, man.
Yeah, I think it's certainly the way things are heading is modelers, because even venues I've done some like club gigs, and they have their own modeler. It's like you just plug into here. Right? It's like, and you can't use a PA. We got our own PA. You just
Yeah.
Just lead, just plug in, and off you go.
Yeah.
So
So much silent stage stuff nowadays,
Yeah.
isn't there? Like, it really is. Yeah, really is a thing.
Yeah.
But I do like it. I like the slickness, and I love running IEMs always. Like,
Yeah.
it's really, really good. But yeah, when you then go on a gig where you got an amp and you're just using a wedge, it's like, oh, okay, this is nice.
I can't do that. I got tinnitus a couple of years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did a festival, and it was, when you're turning around a festival stage, it's like you got 10 minutes. It's like go. It's like go. I was like,
yeah.
Do I do the in ears? And the guy was like, we got wedges. I was like, I'll just use the wedges. The fucking thing, he just cranked it up as loud as it would go, and we started the first song, and it just blew my ears.
Jeez.
And I was like, fuck. And I didn't have earplugs. I was just like, fuck. I was like, you got to turn that down. And that was it. From that day on, I just got this ringing in my ear constantly.
Is it just one ear or both?
It's both.
Fuck, man.
And
that sucks.
So I've got to use earplugs. And I've got to use in-ears.
Yeah.
And so the idea of doing gigs without either is just like, no, I can't do it.
Yeah. I always wear earplugs. Man, I religiously, I'm really scared of stuff like that. It really freaks me out. So I always carry them on my keys, like, the earplugs, and pop them in if I need them. But yeah, that's really unfortunate, man. Sorry that happened. That's just, it goes to show how easy stuff like that can happen.
And I'd never had an issue with hearing or anything like that. And just the first 2 bars of a song blew my ears. So wear earplugs, wear in ears, and look after your
Do you find that you can kind of deal with it okay now? Does it like affect you too much, or?
It's the only time it really affects me is when I'm trying to go to sleep and I've got to have white noise on. So we have a little fan, or I've got a white noise thing on Spotify. Actually, I've got a little white noise thing that I just run on loop. But it does piss my wife off. She's like, it's the fucking fan is driving me crazy. It's like even in the dead of winter, I still got to have a fan on. She's like, it's too fucking cold. But yeah, that's it. Like, I can't hear it now.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can hear it if it's just there.
Yeah. But, it's more when you focus on it, I guess you can kind of hear it more, right? Like, yeah.
I know some people have got it really bad, but thankfully it's manageable. But I did get some really good custom mold earplugs on the NHS.
Right. So, did you? Oh, cool. That's good.
Because you work as a musician with this, we'll get this done. So I had the old gel squirted in my ear. So these are custom molded to my ears. I have lost the molds, not the molds, the cast.
Oh, right,
because I wanted to get some custom in ears. But I've lost them.
Yeah, but you could always go. There's a lot of audiologists around that would do that for you, and then you send them off and get them done. Yeah. But man, honestly, I'm religious about hearing protection and stuff. I'm like, we've got my wife as well. Whenever we go to gigs, I'm like, make sure you wear your earplugs. It's like, so it's just so important. It really is. I know. To be honest, I know a lot of people that have had a similar thing to you, whereby it's happened through an accident or something like that. And it's real. I remember doing a gig with Johnny once, actually, and he was running in-ears on it, and the signal just came in crazy loud. And fortunately, he managed to just either notch it down on his mixer or something quick enough. But he was like, "Look, that could have just completely mullered my ears," and it's just so dangerous. It really is.
Especially if you're relying on a sound engineer sending you signals. It's like, is this a competent sound engineer? Are they gonna?
That's exactly it. Man, I always start with my pack on 0.5 and just make sure, and then just go up from there really gently, because you can't be too careful. You really can't be too careful.
Yeah, but, and I think once your ears go, there's no getting them back.
Yeah, so that's the thing, isn't it?
Look after your ears.
Yeah, it's very important. Very important,
mate. We'll leave it there. It was a fucking mission to get our timetables to sync up, but I'm really glad we did, man.
Yeah,
it was great chat.
Pleasure, man.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks a lot, mate.